You've been chasing it for so long. The dream, the success, the love, the breakthrough, always reaching, always searching, always feeling like it's just out of your grasp. And yet, the more you chase, the further it seems to slip away. Why? Because sometimes the act of seeking is the very thing that pushes what you desire further from you. There's a secret most people don't realize when you stop desperately looking. Things have a way of finding you. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's a shift in energy, in mindset, in the way you approach life. The harder you force something, the more resistance you create. And resistance, it blocks the very thing you're trying to bring in. This isn't about giving up. It's about letting go of the desperation, the obsession, the need to control every outcome. There's a natural flow to life, and when you align with it, the things meant for you come effortlessly. So, why does this work? What happens when you stop chasing? And how can you unlock this power in your own life? The answer is closer than you think. Chasing something with all your energy might seem like the right approach. Work harder, push further, want it more. That's what we've been told, right? But here's where things take a turn. When the desire becomes too intense, it stops pulling things toward you and starts pushing them away. It creates resistance. Like gripping a handful of sand too tightly, the harder the squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. This happens because deep desire often comes with an underlying fear of not getting what's wanted, fear of losing what's already there, fear of time running out. That fear creates tension, and tension creates barriers. It's why people who desperately search for love often struggle to find it, why those obsessing over success feel like they're always falling short. It's not the goal that's the problem, it's the energy behind the pursuit. Attachment is a tricky thing. It disguises itself as motivation, as passion, as determination. But beneath it, there's a subtle panic, an anxious need for control. And control, that's the biggest illusion of all. The more control is forced, the more things slip out of grasp, anxiety creeps in. Every step forward feels like an uphill battle. It's exhausting, frustrating, and worse, it creates doubt. Doubt in the process, doubt in personal ability, doubt in whether anything will ever work out. This is why some people, despite all their effort, seem to keep hitting walls. They're moving forward physically, but internally they're fighting a war. A war against time, against circumstances, against themselves. That energy leaks into everything. People feel it, opportunities sense it. Even the subconscious picks up on it. The result? The very thing being chased starts running away. But then there's the other side. The people who seem to have everything flow to them effortlessly. They're not forcing. They're not desperate. They're not tangled in worry. They move with ease, not because they don't care, but because they've learned the power of letting go. It's not about giving up on dreams or goals. It's about removing the resistance, the fear, the anxious grip that turns pursuit into struggle. This shift isn't about doing less, it's about doing differently. It's about moving from force to flow, from panic to trust, from resistance to alignment. And when that happens, everything changes. Holding on too tightly to a desire can feel like the only way to make it happen. Every thought revolves around it. Every action is tied to it. And every emotion depends on whether progress is being made. But when something is gripped too hard, it suffocates. The more effort is spent trying to control every detail, the harder it becomes to actually receive it. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean abandoning dreams, lowering standards, or walking away from goals. It means releasing the need to control exactly when, how, and in what form something arrives. It's shifting from a state of desperation to a state of trust, moving from force to flow. Desperation sends a message zone that signals lack, fear, and uncertainty. It creates stress, overthinking, and second guessing. When a person operates from that space, every action carries that energy and the results reflect it. Letting go removes the pressure. It allows space for things to unfold naturally instead of being forced into place. It's not passive, it's powerful. This shift happens in the mind first. Instead of obsessing over when something will happen, focus shifts to preparing for it. Instead of chasing, energy is put into becoming the version of a person who naturally attracts it. This is why those who are genuinely at peace with where they are seem to get what they want so effortlessly. They don't stop working for it, but they stop worrying about it. That difference changes everything. Letting go means accepting that some things can't be controlled. Not every opportunity, outcome, or situation can be forced into place, but that doesn't mean they won't come. It means they will come when the conditions are right. The waiting becomes easier when trust replaces anxiety. Actions are still taken, but they come from confidence instead of fear. Most breakthroughs happen when pressure is removed. The call comes when it's least expected. The solution appears when the mind is relaxed. The right person shows up when they're no longer being searched for. Letting go isn't losing control, it's understanding that control was never needed to begin with. Things have a way of aligning when the energy around them shifts from gripping to allowing. Trust is the bridge between effort and outcome. It's the unseen force that turns actions into results, ideas into reality, and dreams into something tangible. Without trust, every step forward feels uncertain. Every delay feels like a sign to give up. Every challenge feels like a roadblock instead of a lesson. Trust isn't about sitting back and hoping. It's about moving forward without fear, knowing that what's meant will come in its own time. Doubt creates resistance. It plants seeds of hesitation, second guessing, and impatience. The mind starts searching for shortcuts, questioning decisions, and focusing on what hasn't happened yet. That energy pulls things further away. Trust does the opposite. It creates space, allowing things to unfold without the weight of constant worry. When someone believes that the right opportunities will come, they stop chasing them with desperation. They prepare for them instead. Faith is what removes the need to seek endlessly. When belief is strong, the obsession over timing disappears, the fear of missing out fades, the urge to control every detail weakens. There's confidence in the process, even when the results aren't immediately visible. This is why some people seem calm, even in uncertainty. They know that what's meant for them will arrive, not because they sit back and wait, but because they trust the path they're on. Everything works in cycles. A seed doesn't grow into a tree overnight. A river doesn't carve through stone in an instant. Things take time, and forcing them too soon can ruin the very outcome that was desired. Trust allows space for growth. It shifts focus from needing things right now to knowing they'll come when the time is right. The mind works best when it's not consumed by fear. When trust is strong, creativity flows, energy stays high, and decisions come with clarity. There's no rush, no panic, no constant need to seek validation through results. There's only steady movement in the right direction, with faith that what belongs will never be missed. This isn't about ignoring reality. It's about working with it instead of against it. It's about recognizing that sometimes what seems like a delay is actually alignment happening in the background. Every moment of waiting isn't wasted time, it's preparation for what's ahead. And those who trust this process always find that in the end, things fall into place exactly as they should. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you. These words from Matthew 7 to 7, -8, have been repeated for centuries, yet their true meaning is often misunderstood. Many interpret them as a call to pursue desires relentlessly, to chase after what is wanted until it is obtained. But beneath these words lies a deeper true tone that ties directly into the power of trust and letting go. Asking is the first step. It sets the intention, clarifies what is truly wanted, and places it into motion. But the verse does not say to beg, to obsess, or to grasp desperately. It simply says to ask. This implies faith, a confidence that what is requested has already been set in motion. Seeking follows, but seeking is not the same as chasing. Seeking is an act of alignment, a way of moving toward the desired outcome while trusting that it is also moving toward you. The final part of the verse speaks of knocking, an action that signifies readiness. A knock is not a forceful break-in. It is a signal that someone is prepared to enter. Many ask but never prepare themselves to receive. They seek but remain closed off in fear, doubt, or impatience. Knocking represents an openness, a willingness to receive when the time is right. Faith is woven into every step of this process. Asking without faith leads to worry. Seeking without faith leads to exhaustion. Knocking without faith leads to frustration. The promise in these verses is not that every desire will be granted instantly, but that every sincere request will be met in due time. The right doors will open, but not through force, through alignment. Spiritual wisdom teaches that blessings are not earned through stress or struggle, but received through faith. The challenge is not in making things happen, but in believing they already are. Those who truly embrace this principle find themselves in a state of peace, where desires no longer feel distant, but already on their way. Letting go is easier said than done. The mind clings to what it wants, replaying scenarios, analyzing every detail, and searching for ways to make things happen faster. But this cycle only creates more stress. Breaking free from it requires a shift tone that starts with awareness. Mindfulness is one of the most effective ways to loosen the grip of attachment. It brings attention to the present instead of being lost in thoughts about what hasn't happened yet. When the mind is constantly focused on the future, waiting for things to fall into place, it creates tension. Mindfulness interrupts that pattern. It turns attention to what is happening right now, where peace can actually be found. Meditation is a powerful tool for this. It teaches the mind to slow down, to sit in stillness without needing an immediate answer or solution. Thoughts will come, but instead of chasing them, they can be observed and let go. This practice builds detachment, not in the sense of not caring, but in releasing the desperate need for control. Even a few minutes of meditation each day can create space between thoughts and emotions, making it easier to trust the process instead of resisting it. Focusing on the present moment shifts energy completely. Instead of stressing about when something will happen, attention moves to what can be appreciated right now. This is where gratitude becomes essential. Gratitude isn't just about being thankful for what has already come. It's about shifting the entire state of being to one of abundance. When energy is spent recognizing what is already good, there's no space left for feelings of lack. Attachment thrives in a mindset of scarcity. It whispers that something is missing, that things aren't complete until a certain goal is achieved, but gratitude dissolves that illusion. It proves that fulfillment isn't waiting at some distant point in the future, it's available in the present. Those who live in gratitude attract more to be grateful for. Their energy shifts, and instead of chasing, they naturally draw things toward them. Letting go isn't about doing nothing. It's about choosing where to place attention. Instead of feeding thoughts of worry, energy is redirected toward mindfulness, stillness, and appreciation. This change isn't instant, but with practice, the mind learns to relax. It stops grasping for answers and starts allowing them to come naturally. In that space, everything flows. Holding on too tightly to outcomes creates an invisible weight, a pressure that builds with every thought of uncertainty. Releasing that need for control is like taking a deep breath after holding it in for too long. There is a lightness, a mental and emotional freedom that comes from letting go. The endless cycle of overthinking slows down. The stress of forcing things to happen fades. Instead of constantly chasing, there is space to simply be. Letting go removes the emotional turbulence that comes with attachment. The anxiety of wondering when things will fall into place disappears. Doubt no longer creeps in, whispering worst-case scenarios. Without the pressure to control every detail, there is a shift toward peace. Energy that was once spent on worry can now be used to focus on growth, creativity, and joy. That change alone makes life feel easier, more effortless, more enjoyable. This shift does more than bring internal peace, it changes what is attracted. The more someone chases after something, the more they push it away. That energy of desperation creates resistance. But when someone steps back, trusts, and allows things to unfold naturally, everything starts to align. This isn't about luck or coincidence. It's about the energy that is being projected. People who carry stress, worry, and fear about their desires unknowingly send out signals of lack. They move from a space of, I don't have this yet, which only reinforces that reality. But those who let go, who trust, who operate from a place of confidence and gratitude, send a completely different signal. They move as if what they desire is already on its way, and in doing so, they create the perfect conditions for it to arrive. Letting go isn't about passivity, it's about alignment. When someone stops obsessing over when something will happen, they become more present, more in tune with opportunities that might have been missed before. Instead of clinging to one specific outcome, they remain open, allowing something even better to come along. Rushing toward a goal often makes it feel like life is on hold until that moment of achievement arrives. The focus narrows, locking in on a single outcome, as if happiness and fulfillment only exist at the finish line. But what happens once it's reached? The satisfaction fades, the mind quickly shifts to the next goal, and the cycle starts all over again. Waiting for a destination to bring joy only leads to endless chasing. True fulfillment comes from embracing the journey. Every step, every experience, every lesson along the way holds value. The moments spent growing, learning, and evolving are just as important, if not more, than the final result. Those who understand this don't wait for happiness to arrive someday. They find it in the process, in the small victories, in the everyday moments that make up a life well lived. Joy is not something waiting in the future. It exists in the present. The excitement of progress, the lessons that come from challenges, the surprises that unfold when least expected, these are what make the journey meaningful. Those who focus only on the end goal miss out on everything in between. They rush through life thinking fulfillment is somewhere ahead, only to realize later that they were always standing in the middle of it. There is freedom in letting go of the obsession with arriving. The most successful and content people move through life with a sense of curiosity, not urgency. They don't resist the process. They don't force things to happen before their time. They trust that every moment is shaping them for what's next. Instead of fighting the journey, they embrace it fully. Challenges become less frustrating when they're seen as stepping stones instead of roadblocks. Delays don't feel like failures when they're understood as redirections towards something better. Setbacks don't create doubt when they're recognized as part of the process. Everything has a purpose, even when it doesn't make sense in the moment. Those who find joy in the journey are never in a rush. They move with confidence, knowing that the path they're on is leading them exactly where they need to be. They celebrate progress instead of waiting for perfection. They allow life to unfold, knowing that fulfillment isn't found at some distant point in the future. It's woven into every moment, waiting to be experienced now. Letting go isn't about giving up. It's about freeing the mind from the weight of constant seeking. The things that are truly meant don't require force. They don't need to be chased with desperation. They come naturally when space is created for them to arrive. Trust shifts everything. When belief replaces doubt, when presence replaces worry, and when gratitude replaces lack, life moves differently. There is no longer a rush, no more fear of missing out, no more frustration over timing. What is meant to come will come, and what is not meant to stay will leave. Resistance fades, and everything begins to align in ways that wouldn't have been possible through force alone. The journey becomes lighter. Peace replaces stress. The right opportunities start appearing, not because they were chased, but because they were welcomed without fear. The energy changes, and when that happens, life responds. If this message resonated, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. More content is coming that will help shift perspective, bring clarity, and guide the way toward a more effortless, fulfilling life. Let go, trust, and watch how everything begins to unfold.